Hello, everyone. Hope everybody's doing awesome. I know everybody's trying to get on. I had people text me if they were still going on. Okay, I see some people coming on. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Guys, as you come in, we are live tonight, so we can answer questions. As you all see, I have, for a third time, Miss Natasja Marquez on. And the reason why is she just has so much information that we just can't get it all in one segment. That's all.
That's right. That's right. We got some great products to discuss today, Angelina.
Yes. Every time I turn around, she has something new. So I got to bring her on. All right. So guys, if you, for you all that know, this is Natasja Marquez. She works with Aviscent Mortgage. I have had her on twice before. She's the one who has the no credit loans, low credit loans, bad credit, good credit, no credit, the rental loans, anything for investors, anything that you're looking for, HELOCs. She has access to that. And so that's why I love her. We work very diligently on files. And I had to say, I said this to the prior lender that I worked with that was on. I'm going to say this to you now. I have to give you your flowers. Guys, it is very important, and this is the public service announcement, and this is regardless whether you utilize me as your agent or not, or who you use as a lender. It is important for you to have a lender that cares just as much about you getting a home as you do. Because I can promise you, and I'm currently working with some right now, that they do not care as much as Natasja. They will not pick up the phone. They will not guide you through it. They will not try their best. She is another one that is top notch when it comes to doing and dealings with this. And it's always been this way since I've met her, from when she worked at Bank of America to even now. And Natasja, I greatly appreciate your diligence in how you assist my clients, because you care, and that means a lot to agents. That means a lot to the homeowners, and also to the sellers who are on the other side of the deal. So thank you very much. I want to get that out there.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Angelina. I think one of the reasons why we work well together is because we have the same mindset. We have the same goal. We truly care about helping home buyers. It's not only, our professional duty, but we take great pleasure, and we get personal pleasure from helping clients, achieve their goal of home ownership. So there's a lot to go into it. It takes a village. So open lines of communication between the realtor, the lending officer, the title company, the attorney. We all work in unison, and we have to, because one loose link, right, can mess up the process. So it's all about having the same goal, the same mindset, and really great communication. And Angelina, you are a star when it comes to that. So I love working side by side with you because you share that same commitment.
Yeah. Well, and guys, again, we are steady getting them closed. I know you all saw, we're going to talk more about we're going to go over right now about the new programs. I have had a lot of people who have been interested in purchasing churches, which is an awesome thing. Wanting to purchase their own building for their church, or either downsize or upgrade to a bigger size, or just freshly starting out. And guys, if you all don't know, and Natasja, you can correct me more on the lending sense, but I have assisted a lot of churches with finding buildings. And let me tell you something, banks really don't want to lend to churches. And I asked the bank, I just say, why is it so hard for us to get this loan? And he said, Angelina, I'm gonna be honest with you, no bank wants to have it to where if the cannot afford the mortgage each month, have it to start the foreclosure process on a house of faith. They do not want to do that. And so therefore they make it a little hard. But again, as if you did not hear my introduction of Natasja before, one thing I love about Natasja is that if I give her a challenge, she's gonna go find whatever I give her. And so even though I had a client who wears a lot of the original, banks, because there are some banks that are known for dealing with commercial loans and church funding. They could not get this, but Natasja was able to get this, guys. She was able to get the church loan. And so I really wanted to talk to you a little bit more and bring that up, because we are having people who are looking for funding. And I don't know if the same type of funding that you look for is something that can be done towards commercial itself. You don't mind elaborating on that, but I really wanted you to kind of dwell into the type of church loan that it was and what makes it different from other commercial loans, because sometimes people think we're purchasing commercial or a building for a church that it's the same as getting a house.
Right.
And so if you don't mind just kind of sharing those details, I greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. So church loans, they're not going to be able to get the same financing as like your standard business, right? So, nonprofit organizations, we know, are not allowed to tap into the SBA loans. They can't, right? So how do we help them get the financing that they need if they're interested in either purchasing an existing building? If they already own a building, there's the option of building on their land. If they have, if they already own not only the building but the land with it, they can build additional structures, and not just another church building. We're talking gymnasiums. We're talking sanctuaries. You name it. We can help you finance that. New construction, yes, we will also handle the land purchase and constructing churches. So this is kind of whatever it is that your church needs, we're going to be able to help you. We also have hard money church loans. So as I was digging deep into, helping Angelina's clients, I was able to find different options and solutions, just because every church is going to be in a different place, right? In terms of the type of property that's going to suit their needs, their budget. And sometimes that means they're going to build. Sometimes that means they're going to buy pre-existing. Sometimes that means they're going to have to do hard money. So we're going to really take everybody's situation and really look at their particular circumstances and figure out which pathway works best.
Okay.
So we're going to start with like church construction loans. And like I stated, it does not have to be just a standard church building. It can also include sanctuaries, family life centers, gymnasiums, and there are 4 types of construction loans that we can do. We can finance churches for properties that they already own the property and they're looking to build another structure on it, right? That's option 1. Another one for churches that want to buy land and they want to build. So again, that would be a land purchase plus the construction. It's going to be 1 loan. We can do financing for churches that want to buy property that already has a building on it and they're looking to build in addition to the property. And then churches in the middle of construction and they've run out of assets and they need assistance borrowing to continue the build. So those are kind of the different reasons why a client would like to look into construction lending for churches. So, again, it really just depends on what your needs are. If you're finding the right pre-existing property, if not, then maybe it's looking into building. So we have, different opportunities there. They are financed up to 100% of the project cost, as long as the total project cost does not exceed 80% of the completed value of the property. Okay, so that's kind of where it starts. One of the things I really like about this is that no personal guarantees are needed. There are no audited financial statements. Those aren't usually needed. Interest-only payments during construction. That's another added benefit. Loan turns into a permanent loan on completion of the construction. So there's only 1 loan closing, which is extremely valuable, especially if you're buying the land and you're also doing the construction. We're looking at 1 time.
I was just about to ask you that with the land and everything. So they could be able to find their lot go ahead and get the construction to build. And guys, just a side note, we have access to builders that do assist with building churches. Just want to let you know. And so they could be able to get the funding from you for the land and also the church. Or do they have to purchase the land first prior to getting the construction loan?
One-time closing, everything included. So
Okay,
we'll do it
awesome.
simultaneously. So we want to have an idea of the land cost. We also want to have an idea of the building cost. So we're going to be doing these things simultaneously. Now, if you buy the land cash and you want to build on it, we can also do that. But if you're interested in getting the land financed as well, you know, we can tie that all together.
That's awesome.
I love it. And Angelina will be, you know, we can't discuss rate here, but Angelina will note on the church loan that we worked on together that the rate I was able to quote the client was a very good rate, I think, for the market. So very competitive rates.
And it was before, well, the Federal Reserve dropped. That's another discussion. Didn't drop it like that, but it was, and this is before you heard everything in the news about the drops. It was comparable to actually a home purchase, which is a good thing coming with a commercial loan. And it was easy.
It was easy. That's right. That's another thing. They close very fast too, especially if it's a pre-existing. We know that a lot goes into construction, right? So they want to make sure, right, that they're that the construction is moving along. There are a lot of inspection points throughout the way. But if you're buying a pre-existing building, we can close on those very quickly and very fast. There are some financial statements and forms that we're going to ask, and we're going to require someone in the church representative to fill out. But typically whoever handles finances, who's the financial chair for the church, will typically be able to provide that data. And we get a quick quote. We get we go over the terms. And as soon as we get the contract, this is something that we can, you know, close sometimes in 2 to 3 weeks. So very fast turnaround there.
Okay. And with when you were saying the representative for the church, do you mind elaborating on what that actually means? Because I think sometimes people think, okay, if I'm the representative, does it mean I'm going to be responsible for this? You know, if they on signing on a house, do you mind just kind of sharing a little bit more of that?
Yeah, the financing is really going to be approved based on the financials of the church. So they're going to be looking at things as how long has the church existed? What are the financials for the church, right? They're going to be looking at the assets. What assets does the church own? They're also going to be looking at, you know, income coming in, like from the parishioners, right? And the expenses that they have, right? So we're going to be looking at a variety of things to kind of determine what loan amount do we feel comfortable lending, right? So that's why it's very important to make sure that your financial chair, who is privy to, you know, the financial goings of the church, fills that documentation out for accuracy purposes. And then we have a representative with the lender that their sole job is to make sure that they're looking through those financial records to determine, you know, if they qualify and how much they qualify for and what that quote would look like. So they do give you an estimate on what the rate would look like, what the payment would look like. So you kind of know what you're getting into.
And it is, guys, very detailed. Like, do you mind if I share kind of like how, like when you get, this is not necessarily a pre-approval. You get the pre-approval, but you also kind of almost get your loan estimate, so to speak, like a generic loan estimate at the beginning. So that way you can be able to take that back to your board, your trustees, to be able to go over. Because of course, you know, a lot of times it's not just the pastor of the church just making a decision. You have a board that's normally, and guys, if I'm speaking out of turn, my apologies, but you know, you normally have a board that kind of makes those decisions with the financials of how much is going to be spent and so forth. And so it's very formal of how it's being presented. So that way it's no type of guesswork, so to speak, even though it's an estimate. And so that's one of the things that I did appreciate about this, because when I've done other commercial loans, I didn't have any of that. They were just kind of like, send the contract over. And I'm like, okay, well, what about this? What do we need? How much is it going to be? They didn't send those things over. And so with this, they actually, you know, sent over, you know, this is what to expect with closing costs. This is going to expect with your loan amount. This is how much the estimated cost is going to be. So it helped out a lot. And one of the things I really appreciated about what you did as far as with this loan that I didn't see with others, so to speak, you know?
Yeah, it
And
was very
guys,
detailed. We want to make sure that they know exactly what they're getting into. And we know that typically it's one representative that you're speaking to. So you want to give them enough data so that they can go back to their board and they can decide, you know, if it sounds like it's something that they want to invest in, if it's the right time to buy or if it's the right time to build. So we try to be as thorough as possible. And we do have really good open lines of communication, meaning if, you know, we have a pastor, for example, that is representing the church and they're coming and they're asking, you know, very detailed questions, we want to make sure that they're answered because we understand this is a complex, you know, buying any property can be a complex process. We want to make sure we simplify while providing all of the information. We just want to make sure we make it clear and streamlined so that you can go back to the board, have a very thorough discussion, and make the right choice.
awesome. And is this loan for, because I know there may be some people who have other businesses, is this loan strictly for churches, or is this loan kind of almost like a commercial loan that other business can utilize as well?
Well, the particular lender that we use also provides funding for a variety of other property types, including churches, multifamily properties, office buildings, retail, warehouses, industrial buildings, medical offices, and renovation loans.
Okay.
This particular product, though, is specifically for churches. But if we want to look into other commercial properties for you know, like a standard business, right, not a nonprofit, there are other product types that we can discuss with the same lender, and they provide very similar terms for those loans. So very excited. And so, Angelina, if you have you know, your clients, any clients that are looking to get into a commercial space, would love to chat with them because we do have, you know, loans that are you know, that are going to be right for their particular needs. And so, yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be for church if we're going, if they're going to need a different property type. But yeah, what we've kind of discussed for the church, like church construction or pre-existing, is specifically for the church. But yes, we do provide opportunities for other property types.
Okay, so you know we're joined. We have so many people that look at our live. So I have an attorney that's looking, and she wanted to also just kind of bring up in regards to when we were talking about the guarantee, that if anyone signs as guarantees or if they're required to sign as a personal guarantees, can we clarify if they're signing on a guarantee in behalf of the church only?
Mm-hmm.
Is that
well,
how
with
that
this particular lender that Angelina and I used for for Angelina's client, we did not need a personal guarantor. So we basically qualify the church based on their financials. So we're going to be looking at, you know, their assets, the money that they're bringing in, and their expenses. And that's really going to determine whether or not they're going to get approved for the church loan.
And on a side note, I want to just give a quick shout out to Degan Hart. They are a fantastic attorney. They deal with residential as well as commercial. I think lots as well. They are awesome to work with. I will be actually having her on a date that I'm actually landing her into. So again, when we're talking about networks of having people that can be able to assist, these are the things, the reason why you have to have a great team around you when you are doing these purchases, from the lender and then also the communication from the attorney, so that way we can make sure that everything is lined up the way that it needs to. And one thing I love about them is that if I call them, I can get them on the line and they'll get each other on the line if they need to clarify things. Okay, awesome. And guys, if you don't know too, with purchasing a building for your church, if you're a 501c3, you don't have to worry about property taxes. So that is something else that is a benefit of when you're purchasing your building, where others are paying, thousands of dollars a year in property taxes. That's something that you don't have to worry about, which helps you with that monthly payment. So if you're thinking about getting, this is another question I had in regards to church loans. Is there a minimum of what a church can be able to finance, especially if you have a church who may have either a large sum of money to put down, or someone who's looking for something kind of to start off with?
Sure. They've done loans as low as 50,000 and have gone as high as 35 million. So it really just depends on the needs of the church, right? And also the financials, right? Got to make sense. If you need a $35 million church loan, it has to make sense, right? With the finances. But that's the range. I mean, that's how low they've gone, and that's how high they've gone. And they're a really good lender to work with. Worked with the account exec to really get a good feel on their products, and so far they really have been outdoing what I've seen out there. Like Angelina has stated, you do have some financial institutions that are dedicated to church loans, but they have a lot more restrictions. The same client that Angelina and I are speaking about spoke with another financial institution who was lending a lot less, and the terms were different. So I think our deal was a lot better. And, I think it's just about finding the right lender, and also making sure that we're getting the client to provide the right financials, right? So we did a great job, I think, communicating with the client, getting exactly what we needed, and we got a great proposal.
And I want to ask in regards to, I know you had stated that you had the construction loans for a church that wants to build or add on.
Mm-hmm.
What about if you have a structure that you need to renovate?
We do that too.
Financing to pull out equity to do things that you may need to do with your facility.
Yep.
Do you have that?
Yeah, so you can do it a couple of different ways. You can do a refinance if you already have an existing church loan. You can do kind of like a cash out scenario. But you can also, if that's not what you want to do, you keep the current loan intact. They do have an additional separate like renovation loan that you can do to tap in if you need to do renovations, or if you need to do an addition, or if you've already started maybe using the assets of the church and you've already started your renovations and you just need some to wrap it up to finish, then that's also something that we can look into financing for you.
Okay, awesome. Because I know some places that may need that, and that's for commercial too. That we can. Okay, awesome. Right. Okay. Was there anything else before we switch to the 100% FHA that you want to enlighten in regards to church loans?
Yeah, we also do private money loans for churches. So sometimes, churches that may have defaulted in the past, or, something has come up where maybe, it's not such a squeaky clean background on that particular entity. We do have private money loans as well. So, because sometimes we know there's a need there.
Yes.
So bankruptcies for churches, foreclosures on churches, there are certain things that we can work around, and it would be a separate type of loan. We consider those hard money loans. And they, like I said, because there's no personal guarantor, there's no minimal credit score required, and there's no application fee. So they do keep the cost at a minimum. And that's one of the things that we do discuss, right? What are the fees that are associated with the product that you've selected, whether it be new construction, whether it be a renovation type thing, whether it's purchasing a pre-existing. We'll go over all of that in detail.
And if you don't mind, because we have people that are out of state that view this, not only in South Carolina, but where can they be able to contact you in regards to church loans? What states?
Yeah, well, for commercial loans, it's really, I can do loans in all 50 states. But when it comes to like residential, which I also specialize in, and we're going to discuss later on in this call, like FHA loans, I'm licensed in South Carolina and Florida. The company I work for is licensed in North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Washington, DC area. So that's Maryland, Virginia, and California.
Okay.
If you're interested in residential, those are the states that we can assist in at the current moment. But when it comes to commercial, we can look at any state.
Yeah. So guys, if you have someone that you know that is looking to, if you are a church or if you know somebody who's been speaking about being a church or either dealing with commercial, please reach out to us. She can do this in 50 states. 50 states. I'll always put our contact information at the bottom so that way you can be able to see it. But I want to get on because I know everybody's been holding on for this 100% FHA loan. Okay, I'm going to let her give the lender version. I'm going to give my version as an agent when I get you on the phone. She has, guys, Natasja has a 100% FHA loan. Okay, I know you're probably like, yeah, Angelina, everybody does. True. Not only that, with that particular product, it is also getting up to 5% towards your closing cost. 5% of the purchase price towards your closing costs with this loan. And I really wanted to get her on to talk about it. It's a new product that they're rolling out. And guys, again, we don't know how long these lenders are going to have these products. If you've been on the fence, this is the time to make you move. Okay. You want to go ahead and pull up the slide
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Okay,
so
guys.
This is a great loan. We consider it a down payment assistance loan. It is FHA. You can have, it is for credit scores as low as 620. 620 is the minimum. If we do not have, we have an automated underwriting tool that we submit our loans through, right? And it's a very intuitive tool, and it kind of lets us know, yes, the client, meets the requirements of what we're looking for. And if you get an approved eligible, then they qualify for the loan. If we have to do a manual, meaning that we are getting a refer and not an approval, that means that sometimes there's something on the credit, there's something with assets, there's something with credit history that the system does not quite like. When we have a refer eligible, we can do what's called a manual underwrite. And for this particular loan, it starts at 660 for credit score. And we use the middle score. So when lenders, when loan officers, we run your credit report, we get 3 scores back from the 3 major credit bureaus. That's Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. And we're going to use the middle score. Now for FHA, for a standard FHA loan, right? If without this down payment assistance, I can go as low as 500 with some of my lenders. So, but specifically for this product, which gives the down payment assistance, 620 minimum for an AUS approve eligible. If I have to do a manual underwrite, if the automated underwriting system determines that there is something there that, it doesn't quite like, and we get a referral, that means that we need the credit score to be at a 660 for a manual underwrite. So for this loan, we give up to 5% total down payment assistance for the client, right? So typically for an FHA, you have to put 3.5% down towards your down payment, right? So what this particular lender is doing is they are giving you not only the 3.5% to cover your down payment, but an additional 1.5% for a total of 5% to go towards your closing. So you can use that additional 1.5% to go towards your closing costs. So this is a great loan, especially, and it's not limited to first-time home buyers. There is no first-time home buyer requirement, but for FHA, it has to be a primary residence, no exceptions, right? So the intent has to be that you're going to occupy the property. But let's say that you're selling one house and you're buying another. You can use this loan. Okay, there's no limitation. I do have a conventional product that is also 100% financed, but for that product, you are required to be considered a first-time home buyer, which means for at least the past 3 years, you could not have owned a property. But for this one, we don't have the same requirement. Only requirement is, again, intent to occupy the property.
So like how with other programs, you can use it, but they want you to only own when you close. You have to sell that one prior to getting this one. Say if somebody has a property and their DTI can afford to be able to keep that as a rental property, they can utilize this program without having to sell that one?
They can, because if the intent is to occupy this one as primary, right, and they own a rental property, that's still okay. So if they are converting their current residence into a rental property, and that loan, and remember, you are only allowed to have one FHA loan at a time. So if you are planning on keeping the property you're currently living in, if that is also an FHA loan, this loan won't work because you can only have one FHA loan at any given time. And that's just a requirement of FHA in general. So, but if it's a conventional loan, if it is I don't know, any other type of loan, that's okay. It's just FHA, you're allowed one at a time. Okay. But if you're keeping that property and you're keeping that loan, and it is not an FHA loan, and you're basically going to rent it, and this new property is going to be first-time home buyer, and you meet the requirements, then yes, that's a great question, Angelina.
Okay. And guys, just to kind of give you an idea when she's talking about this 5%, you know, the average house now looking at what, 250,000, maybe a little bit more. But just off of 250,000, that's $12,500 that's going towards down payment, well, closing costs and everything else. So that is a huge chunk of money that's coming in to assist you with purchasing a house. And again, like she stated, you only need a minimum of 620 credit score. That's awesome. That's right.
Yes, it's a great program. We've helped. It just rolled out fairly recently, but I've already been in communication with so many people who are very interested in this product, because we do have, many people who are struggling to keep money in the bank. We know cost of groceries up. We know there are other expenses people have, but this is a great product to help with the assets needed towards purchasing a property. So again, if you qualify, the down payment is covered by this and an additional 1.5%. So 3.5% for down payment, an additional 1.5 towards closing costs. So altogether 5% will be given to you through this lender. Now, how does it work? Because we haven't talked about how this works. So I do have, and I'm going to talk about the Max One product and Max One Plus. This is called Max One Assist. So with Max One Assist, what happens is you have the first loan. The first loan is just your standard loan. It's going to cover the 96.5%, right? The loan, the main loan, okay? 96.5% of the purchase price is covered by the lien in first position. There is going to be a lien in the second position. That's going to be the remaining funds, right? That is going to cover that 5%, right? So it's going to cover the 3.5% down payment plus the 1.5 additional towards closing costs. Now that with the Max One Home Assist is going to be amortized for 10 years, and it's going to be two interest percentage points greater than the first loan. So let's say the first loan and I'm not quoting right here, I'm just saying, let's say it's 7, right? Let's say the rate is 7, it's going to be 9 on the other, right? And it's amortized for 10 years. We do give you a loan estimate that breaks everything down, so you get to see it. But this is just a great tool to use when you don't when you don't have the assets to purchase. Now, we do have 2 other programs. One is called the FHA Max 1, and the other one is FHA Max 1 Plus. For the Max 1, if you qualify, not everyone qualifies, and Angelina, I'll send you the flyer for that one after our call. But for the Max 1, the lender will give you the 3.5%, so 100% finance, but you don't pay. You don't have a payment. It is a quote unquote forgivable loan. Okay, so no payment. Now for the FHA Max 1 Plus, it's similar to the Max 1 Home Assist, but you only get 3.5% towards the down payment. You do not get the additional 1.5%. And again, with that one, you'll get charged 2 additional percentage points compared to the main loan, the primary loan in lien position 1. So that's kind of the difference between the 3. But the Max 1 Plus, I say if you're going to do that one, go ahead and do the Max 1 Home Assist, because it's going to be the same cost, right? In terms of the rate, right? It's going to be 2 percentage points higher than the original. And you're getting the additional assistance in closing costs, which is that additional 1.5%. So all in all, this is a very, very good program, regardless of whether or not this is, going to be your second home, your first home, your third home. As long as it's going to be your primary residence, and you need some assistance, this is a great loan to entertain. And I'm happy to provide pricing for anyone who's interested.
Yes, guys. And again, there are so many different products out here. One thing I really liked about this product is that, yes, there are a lot of 100%, products there. Well, this one is a minimum credit score of 620. A lot of those other programs, even if you're doing things like state housing and such, they're kind of wanting your scores to be a little bit higher. So this will allow you, if you're teetering right there on that 620, 630 mark, so you're too low for to be able to get those other programs, this one will be a great one for you because it's just a great match.
Mm-hmm.
But again, the first step, guys, you just have to give us a call. There's so many things out there for you to purchase a home. If you're worried about credit, we have programs to where we have people who assist with credit. Natasja has looked at credit for years. If she's able to assist, she can tell you. If not, she has a partner of credit person. I have a credit person who I'm trying to also tag to come on as well, that can be able to assist you with getting your scores up. If the problem is financing, she has the programs to where she can go as low. Well, she has somewhere there's no credit. Like I stated before,
We do. We've
200 some thousand house with no credit. I mean, there are so many things out here. It is worth you giving a call and taking a look into it. Don't count yourself out. Don't think that, oh, I'll never get a home, or I need to have an 800 credit score to get a home, or I need to have $20,000 in the bank. That would be awesome. I will be honest with you. If you do have those things, it's going to be a lot easier and give you a lot more options. But the thing is, we have to be realistic. A lot of people are not going to have 800 and tens of thousands in the bank. And so if you are in that criteria where you're at that 620, 600, 5 something, and you need assistance, there are options for you. It's just all about getting started and starting with a conversation and a consultation. There's no obligation, just to talk and to be able to see, what we have available and what Natasja has available, because she has a lot of things. And if you're a unique situation, just like how we did with the church loans, I had no idea that she did church loans. I just had a client that we had some, we got news, we got approved from another lender, but we were looking at our options, and Natasja was able to find her something that was better and more comparable than what they had actually qualified for. So there's so many things out there. It's just taking the time out to see it. Natasja, did you want to share anything in regards to this loan?
No, I just think it's a great opportunity for those that are short in assets. So there are a lot of things that different people hesitate with when it comes to getting the process started towards home ownership. Assets is one of them. A lot of people think I don't think I have the money put aside just yet. Some people it's credit. I don't think my credit is where I need it to be to get started. Some of it is employment, like, hey, you know what? I was self-employed and now I'm a W-2 employee and I've only been in my job for, a month. I don't think I qualify. What you need to do is take the guesswork out, reach out, because knowledge is power. Don't make assumptions, because, having these conversations and knowing where you're at is the starting point, right? We need to know where you're at.
Exactly.
I take the time to get to know you, get to know your finances, your work history, your credit, and we sit down and we talk. Everybody's situation and circumstances are different, and we find a loan that is tailored to you and is tailored to your needs. And that's the most important part. And I really take great pride in making sure that when I connect with clients, I look at what your individual needs are and where you're starting, and then we create a plan together. And that's when we start including your realtor. That's when we start working with you as a team, as a unit, because Angelina said it best at the beginning of the call. It takes a village, right? So my job is on the financial side, when you're looking at borrowing money to purchase a home, that we get you into the right product, that we discuss your finances thoroughly, and we just make sure that you're properly educated, because at the end of this, I want to make sure you're comfortable with the process. I want to make sure you're comfortable with the product, and that you're aware of what you're getting yourself into, what the pricing looks like, what your payment is, how comfortable is that going to be for you? How can we help you get some assets if you're struggling there? So everybody's situation is different. And we take great pride. Angelina and I talk on a daily basis, and we always talk about what can we do to make our clients, pathway to home ownership possible. And it really just starts with, a good open dialogue. And that first connect is so important, where we really get a breakdown, what's important to you, what you're looking to do, what your finances look like. And, we help you towards that path. At the end of the day, we want to make your dream of home ownership, or if it's something on the commercial side, we want to make that, dream a reality. So we take great pride and pleasure in helping clients with those dreams and goals.
Exactly. And we understand too that, it's hard to be vulnerable when it comes to things like your finances, your credit scores, and things of that nature. Just know that you're dealing with a group of people who have been around this for over a decade. And don't think your scores are too low, or that you, oh, I don't have anything. Matter of fact, I'm owing. Don't worry about that, because if you start today, you'll be one day closer. I tell people that all the time, whether it takes, a couple of months, a year, 2 years, if you start today, you'll be one day closer. And she stated, everybody's situation is different. That's why I'm even telling people, when you talk to people about your experience, try not to talk to them, because you got so many people who purchased and interest rates were really low. And they had different criteria then. Let us look at to see what it is that you need to do. And then once you find out your action plan or your game plan, just stick to it. Just stick to it. I tell you, if people who stick to their game plan, you will be surprised. They get exactly what they worked hard for. So don't be ashamed to call us. Don't be scared to call us. Just go ahead and call so we can see exactly what needs to be done and apply. When we give you the links, make sure you apply. Because I have some people I've talked to, it's like, okay, just click that button. Click that button. Okay, you filled it out. Hit submit. Go ahead and do it. And we understand, we understand that that you're anxious about it, and you're like, oh my goodness, I don't want. but there are so many things that could be done. And some people are pleasantly surprised that they're actually closer than they think. And so allow for us to be able to tell you what you need. Allow for us to review what needs to be done so you can truly get a real picture of what's needed versus what you may think is needed or what you see online. You can speak to a lender like Natasja who can tell you exactly what needs to be done. Exactly. And normally when they do that, right on point, if anything is needed. But she has so many programs to whereas before she tells you no, you can't at this moment, she's going to exhaust through looking at all those options first. She gives you a final answer, which is another thing that I appreciate. Okay. All right. Well, Natasja, I'm going to put your contact information, guys. Speaking of contacting Natasja, this is her cell phone number and her email address. I am giving you direct contact to the people that comes on these talks. I am giving you access to. Please reach out and talk to her. And I have people who've asked me that are like, well, Angelina, I have another agent. Hey, if you have an agent and this is something that seems that you are interested in, reach out to Natasja. I'm really doing this because I want it to be a resource. Now, I do ask that if you do not have an agent, please allow me to be able to speak with you to find out more about that to see if it's doable. But if you already have an agent and you're looking and this program interests you, go ahead and reach out to her so that way you can be able to, or either share with your agent so the agent can contact her, just explain your scenarios to see what options you may have. All right. All right. I want to put this as well now. Natasja, I'm sure you're going to put that back. I don't know when, but she has so many programs, guys. It's really so many things that we could be able to talk to about. Guys, I have info here. You could, if you caught the end part of this, just to let you all know, if you go to YouTube and go for Deals with Angie, you can catch all the Tuesday tune-ins. We had Natasja on back in August. Yes, was it August or July? I think it was either July or August, but you'll see it. I have her name. Yeah. Please go back and see. We had a part 1 and part 2 of showing all the things she had available. Go through and look at these. If you need to recap, these are all replayed on our YouTube page at Deals with Angie. And if you don't mind, subscribe and share too when you go out there. Natasja, was there anything else? I think we already talked about anything else that you want to share. I thank you so much for coming out to be a part of this. I greatly appreciate it. Guys, it's really hard for us to come on a Tuesday because Natasja and I have really been talking for the last couple of hours this past day, because we had some things we need to do for a file. And so I really appreciate when these guests come on after already being on 8 to 5 and then giving up their weekend. Their evening. So thank you very much for this. Guys, as always, tune in every Tuesday at 7 p.m. We're either going to have guests going to join us or either we're going to go over some great topics that you could be able to utilize. And as always, if you are looking to start, if you need to sell or purchase, and you're looking for an agent that could be able to assist you, this is my contact number that's below. You can email me at Angelina@dealswithangie, or you can call me at 803-201-3391. We're here to serve. Natasja, thank you again so much for joining us this evening. And guys, thank you for watching and joining. And if you have any questions in regards to what you've seen tonight, reach out to me and I could be able to definitely get in touch with Natasja, or you can contact her on the number you see below. All right, Natasja, thank you so very much again. You have a great one and a blessed one. And guys, have a great evening and a blessed one.
Thanks, Angie.
Thank you. Oh, I think somebody said something. Oh, we got people saying thank you. All right, Natasja, thank you. Have a blessed one.
Thanks, Angeline. Talk to you later.